yesterday, and what I like to do in the mornings, and I love this routine. It sucks when it doesn't work, but I love this routine. Is I literally just wake up in the morning and I have just the daily chart on, and I just simply go through. Are any markets at ATR levels? And you can see on the Dow, nope. So there's just nothing to do. Had an interesting level come in. There was some nice gap action. There was a trend line here. I suppose you could argue this is a lot like the crypto kind of potential bottom here this morning. There was a double bottom breakout level here from this high here. But when I woke up, the market was right here. So there was nothing I could do there. Same thing on the S&P 500. We were sort of banging around here. There's ATR levels, nothing to do. Then I got to the Russell 2000, and this was sitting right there when I woke up this morning. It was like right at the ATR level. And also, too, can't even, how was that? Well, I guess there was a gap from way over here, but that's kind of irrelevant. I think also this was A to B and C to D down into there. This is a pretty interesting level. We actually went beyond the A, B, C, D. So what actually ends up happening is the harmonic actually acts as resistance on the other side. This was the level that the market wanted to trade to with that gap and everything. So this morning, and of course there is Foggy Boggy. You know how much Brian likes to see the Foggy Boggies hit. That's the one thing I don't like about the Bitcoin chart right now is that foggy level still open there. So this one went right up. And when I woke up and I joined the day trader room, this was the only one in there. So I was like laser beam focused on the Russell 2000 this morning. That's where I've got to pay attention. What was interesting about this one too was this was and you can't really see it on these charts, but on the lower time frame, this was a really cool megaphone that developed here through the day the other day. I was watching it closely, and I also see this happen a lot too, where if you have like megaphone trend lines, this now becomes a resistance point on the other side of the megaphone. We lost the bottom of the megaphone. We rally up, and this bottom of the megaphone actually is a resistance level. So put it all together. First thing this morning, I was like laser beam focused that if I'm going to take a trade, that's where I'm going to take it. So drill down to my lower time frame charts, and there's the trade setup. Now, the question ultimately is, didn't have too many trades reported recently, so I was a little bit rusty. I didn't want to be too aggressive. So ironically enough, actually, I love the level so much. That was that dotted line. I actually drilled down to like a 1 minute chart as we came in here because I wanted to thread this needle. And what was interesting about this was on the 1 minute chart, as we were sitting there, market ran into this level. Then it backed away. Then it made new highs. And I was like, and then it made new lows. And I was like, fucking A, megaphone. Because I love these megaphone patterns now. I used to hate them. And I used to suggest to people, try and avoid these things. Because they do end up like new people to trading. This is difficult as hell to trade. But this was so cool when I watched this, right? And I sort of clued in that this was megaphone when I saw that they took the market down, then they washed these stops, then they washed these stops, and I was like, fucking A. If we get a third tag of this trend line, then the megaphone comes alive. And if I get any kind of fail signal up here, I'm so going to hit this son of a bitch. So what I did, conservative, because like I said, I haven't been day trading that much recently, and I didn't want to be too aggressive, didn't want to be, too over the top. And if I did lose money, then I didn't really want to lose a hell of a lot. So I was like, drill down to lower time frame, give me some sort of fractal pattern there, live by the sword, die by the sword. There is my megaphone or the old megaphone resistance level. And the question ultimately was, did I have divergence developing in here? And look at this beautiful bear div. I mean, honestly, folks, This is everything that I teach you guys. Everything. I mean, look at this RSI. As they moved it up to new highs here, the RSI had already broken down. And look at Willie Nice and Stupid. You think any of you could have hunted this setup? I think so. This is everything that we teach in the education program. There's nothing really outlandish about this trade. So, Fractal Fires came in. Gotta take a trade. This is what I do. Strap 3 on of the micro contracts. Try and, like I said, be very, very conservative. Don't want to lose a lot of money if I'm wrong, but just sort of getting my feet wet again. And what was interesting was the moment that this fired here, then I flipped to a 3-minute chart. And I was like, give me the fractal fail on the 3-minute chart, and then I can just put it away because I know I'm good to go. So boom, boom, boom. Turns out my trade was a shooting star. I don't know whether you can see that. Beautiful shooting star. That's in essence what the fractal looks like on a 1-minute chart. On a 3-minute, it looks like a shooting star. So boom, boom, boom. There is the fractal top. As soon as this level was traded through, I was like, I'm good to go. Whew, I can just go relax now. So that's the difference between babysitting a trade and then, when can you stop babysitting? As soon as I saw this 3-bar fractal fire, I was like, I can relax. Rule for me is, because of the size of the trade, I want to make sure 2-to-1s. And more importantly, if I'm sort of right, I really don't want to see a winning trade turn into a losing trade. So I have a rule that at 50% of the 2-to-1 objective, that's this little trade. You can see actually was I guess it was 2.35. Not quite sure why I had it there. Oh yeah, there's 2-to-1 there, right off of there. Oh, no, it isn't. Anyway, this was at 2-to-1. Not quite sure why I screwed that up. Anyway, stop to scratch at that level there. So at this point, at least if it comes back and bites me, well, I'm not going to lose money. I'll just walk away. She just kept working, doing, into 2-to-1. Boom, take 1 off. Take profit on 1. So I got 2 contracts left on. Stop still at scratch on the remaining. Then the reason why I used this level was I actually looked at this range, being conservative. Remember, didn't want to be too aggressive, coming back. I haven't done a lot of day trading, so just play it really conservative. Take my second contract off at 50% of this range. Boom, done. So at this point now, and keep in mind, super conservative. I don't really want to be aggressive. So I just said, okay, I'm going to trail my third one. And as you can see, this actually put in a double bottom here. I guess I still have my stop at scratch. I don't have any reference here to taking the third one off. So the third one was sitting at scratch. And I guess, the interesting thing is we started to come in here. This is actually when I left for coming into the daily brief with Chris. And I just said, well, it looks like my day trading day is done. I could have taken everything off there. Looks to me like hindsight 2020. The best thing was just leave that third one, leave the stop at scratch. And this is a really good example, folks, where you might find that third contract that you have to take off, I might have to take that off on the closing ball at the very low end of the day. You never know in this fucking crazy game. But this was just such a fantastic example of just, keep it really, really easy. And John, of course, with his ATR script, all I had to do was just load up all my charts and just ask, are there any markets at their ATR extremes? And look at this action here today. Can you believe that? We were up here earlier today. This thing was a rip-roaring bull. What happened to the bull? This thing might actually even go negative on the day. Wouldn't that be killer? So all I'm going to do is, with this thing, it turns out it was a half decent idea after all. Now, what I would suggest to do if you're in this is why don't we exercise the 3 high low method? Right? We'll just say 1 high, 2 highs, 3 highs. And let's just see what happens. If we just keep making lower highs and lower lows, I'll just keep moving the 3 high low method down. And let's see where this final contract gets closed out at the end of the day.